Sunday the 19th of May 2024. Seems like any other day. Actually, this was the day that many fans predicted Liverpool's fall from grace. Jurgen Klopp's last match at Liverpool cemented himself as one of the greatest ever managers, firing Liverpool back on the perch, winning their first ever Premier League title and their first Champions League since 2005. Some would call him irreplaceable, but who would replace him? Arne Slot. A lot of people probably hadn't even heard of him. He'd only ever managed in the Eredivisie, and in the midst of Erik ten Hag's absolute disaster at Man United, people would start to make comparisons. In the 2023-24 season, when Jurgen Klopp announced that he was leaving Liverpool, it was clear that it affected the players and there was a drop-off. They were on course to win the Premier League and they ended up finishing third. With a tired-looking team, potentially a club in transition, and a brand new manager who didn't really have any proper credentials, no one would expect that Liverpool would have the season that they've just had. But you've got to look into it a little bit deeper. You see, Arne Slot's tactics and way of playing isn't all too different from Klopp's. Slot is more defensive than Klopp. Not necessarily a bad thing, considering Liverpool were always vulnerable after they committed so many players forward under Klopp. Slot would also make virtually no signings at all, and many people were baffled, but he realised that Klopp had built a team. Those players may have just needed a bit of inspiration. No matter how good Jurgen Klopp was, and of course every Liverpool fan loved him, I'm sure majority of the players loved playing under him, but sometimes a change is needed. But in reality, at the start of this season, not many people saw it that way at all. The narrative was that, well, how could Slot live up to Klopp? How can he do it with no signings? Slot has no credentials, and so on. Players like Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Gravenberch, players who maybe didn't really live up to expectation in the first season at Liverpool, all started to flourish. Gravenberch somehow filling the boots of a holding midfielder. You've got a 30-odd-year-old Mo Salah, who everybody said was on the decline and finished, who's just had the season of his life. An aging Van Dijk who has pretty much just had a flawless season. The main area of Liverpool's team that people basically said was weak and needed strengthening before the season was the midfield. And ironically, towards the end of the season now, knowing that Liverpool have won the league, you could probably quite easily say that Liverpool this season had the best midfield in the league. But how can that happen, considering the midfield last season was weak, and with the same players now it's the best? How did he get players like McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, who last season people simply weren't sure about, to perform at the absolute highest standard? Well, that's all down to the genius of Arne Slot. They've lost 2 games all season, one to Nottingham Forest at the start of the season where everyone was kind of shocked, but of course now seeing where Nottingham Forest are is kind of understandable. And not long ago, a couple of weeks ago to Fulham, and to be honest, the title was already kind of wrapped up. Before meeting the match against PSG in the Champions League, a very, very, very good PSG side, might I add. I personally think they'll win the Champions League this season. They won 7 and drew 1 in the league phase, comprehensively beating Real Madrid 2-0, thrashing champions of the Bundesliga Bayer Leverkusen 4-0. The list goes on. Of course, they had a League Cup final where they lost to Newcastle, and to be honest, on the day, they would definitely deserve to lose. Now the champions, the Premier League champions, they're 15 points above Arsenal in second place with 4 games to go. But it's still not good enough for some people, saying that Liverpool were the worst Premier League champions in years. They only won it because everybody else didn't play well, and so on. At the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you, and if Arsenal and Man City decide to fall off, then what else can you do other than play what is in front of you? Lose 2 games all season. In the manager's first season, making barely any signings. But what's the significance of this Premier League title win? Well, as Arne Slot said, it's not 2 titles in 35 years, it's 2 titles in 5 years. They've now equalled Man United's top-flight title record. Both teams have won it 20 times. And I think what a lot of people have actually missed in this whole situation stemming from Jurgen Klopp leaving last year to Liverpool winning the Premier League this year is that Jurgen Klopp is a very intelligent man. Because he knew it was his time to go. He had a title-winning team, but he couldn't get them to win the league. And it just shows that the next season when he leaves, they win the Premier League, that he did have a title-winning team, and he just couldn't get them to win the league. It's as simple as that. Him recognising that that was the situation I mean, it says it all. So not only is it the genius of Arne Slot, you've got to give credit to Jurgen Klopp as well. Not only for building the team, but recognising that it wasn't his time anymore. But anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then maybe you should check the video out that's on screen now. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.